to remake the world as a digital simulation, really, to digitalize, to steal life. It is an anti-life program. It's moving from carbon-based life to silicon-based life, to a digital twin of the world that they can control, that is disconnected from spirit.
I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day. The old way of doing things is done. I don't care what you say. Monsters don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work, you're left behind is where you stay. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We gotta protect plus homeschool. Our babies is a must. They not just no moms, but also no pops. Hezbollah worshiping pedophiles. Wanna feed our children's spirits so robust. Turn all of us from carbon-based to silicone-based. Should be where the shit show stops. Get back to doing for ourselves. Water system irrigation and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher. No, am I some pastor or preacher? Was released represent with this passion to speak up. After doing 25 years in the beast cuffs. Realize they tried to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They tried to feed us the fire of our ancestors resides in each of us. With that, I'm inspired to turn this heat up. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to war with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
We're really approaching almost like it's a Frankenstein moment. And they're framing it to us as, innovation, right? Where we should all be so excited that this is happening. And, I equate it to like the golem bringing in like these robots. They would like to feed our life force to learn us in every tiny detail, not to empower us, but to actually transform us into a robotic simulation that is under their full control.
Nah, bro. Come on. Nah, come on. You almost there, bro. Almost there. Survive.
Chi-town, who am I but Chi-town? You young fool, I'm too fly to just slide down. Blue sky behind ground, a crown slash helmet. So my aircraft still spit, can't be tied down, even sheep building. I look down, I see green like a Celtic. My heat pulverizes, the cheese is melted. The remnants of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the fusions in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked across my hand, I dealt it. Felt it vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. It bust off on some ice, some velvet shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. Body for real marquee velvet. Body not for Mars, use a female's clip. As a kid Yeah, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows to shit. To a fly low, haters wanna crucify. A real man, I still stand with the silver hand. But we're healing, man. It's not Cypress Hill. I'm Tuttle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie. I don't follow, I set standards. Catch me, you gon' have to do more to scamper. Need more to scanners. I'm off the radar. I am as your goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper opera. You stagnated, well I straight evolve. At a ring, I'm dating space AC, y'all. Bust stuck in the case, face off. Actor shape the state, using fate. They fraud. Battlestar intergalactic.
Look ahead. What's up, babe? What's up? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, bro?
You got a lot to learn.
Get it in here in a minute.
No concern. I am a threat.
I got put the rest of the money in my gas tank. I'm going to the gym today. That's it, man.
Fly bandit, mohawk, aviators, aerodynamics, and it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. A Christmas Carol lies with your fans get.
Raining.
Worlds and perils what I transmit as a transcript, or I just spit it off the top. It's either shit or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
It's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy. I love it.
I know you can't do nothing if you're broke. Listen to me, young people, old people too, mostly black people, I'm talking to you.
Sure.
Let a few more people come in, you know what I mean?
Y'all really thought that I was.
Y'all gonna like this one. I hope you do.
Nah. I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up. We not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fact. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, Mao, Big Mac. With the earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. Enough with the chit chat. I see through the side eyes. Looking past the side five. Third eye gauge.
Pretty tough side.
I don't eat pork, but I will fry cosh. For foes, my heart's cold as an icebox. I'm saying that from the skybox. I got scope on you pilgrims. The scope with some rules. Some of our folks are still dumb. Yeah, and blasted the fact that blood, we gon' have this real some warrior spirits inside me. That's where it's real from. The world's a stage, we have the page, script is played out. They keep us engaged, they can't arrange. This is played out. Rules of a dying society should have been disobeyed out. Forehead and knees off the floor should have been prayed out. The draft is on, COVID's no issue. Could have bloated in tissue. Now it's control who blows the whistle to who holds the pistols. The debacle's about who owes who the fiscal. Disregarding the aboriginal issue. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is final.
If you come in here with some weird name, whatever, I'm not acknowledging you.
Here's a big fact. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, Mao, Big Mac. Whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. Big fool is known by his speech. Yet if I don't speak, I suffer defeat. I'm other than we, a sucker or me. Stand on 2 feet or trump the other cheek. The wise man known by his silence. Mostly disguised compliance. Silence by guidance. From conspiring connivance. Other aspirants of violence. Tyrants of fire. Trying to hide. I'm trying to fight. And if I was the migrants, I'm hearing the sirens. Ring in my ear, they've got indictments. These pedophiles, queers, coopers, and hymen. Alignments, the assignment. I'm not the wisest, I'm not applying. My refinement and confinement, the requirements for this climate. Y'all push all the paperwork, or y'all can protest, but they can't escape this work. I vow to progress, don't duck, no wreck. Drill music for real. My soul they don't possess. Real foolish with no deal. Ain't playing with none of them. It's personal, know what the business is. Big monsters come full circle, so vacate your premises. We not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bound or whack. There's a big fact. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mao, Mao, or Big Mac. Whether earth is round or flat. We want our shit back. About this or that, whether your word is bound or wet. Here's a big fact. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, Mao, Big Mac. Whether earth is round or flat, we want our shit back. I teach you up.
Yeah, no.
Shine symbols for the conscious minds, y'all. And with that on the temple, draw. I had a vision the past night, yet a circulus round created successful reality from a virtual now. How? Stand on my square cause they usurp your power. Them same little sneaky breezes that'll hurt you. They smile all up in your face, all up in your space. And I ain't talking all bras, but dogs with whole trace. So I walk tall kittens while y'all cross slow race. I stay focused on walking through them tall gold gates. Draw a magic circle around me to keep me from harm. The long fat checks purposely will keep me. I'm calm. Water, fat, air, earth, turn me from that peace to a bomb. Blow the joint, just split the range, the plane, the centimeters. I've encompassed my inner demons. 490-degree angles guarded by angel of shiny elite angels. Thank you, and I of course am the chief triangle. If I die before I wake, well at least I'm flying plain view. I am my circle, how I govern four corners. Wise as a serpent for certain amongst foreigners. Out of state, out of place in the space they storing us. Learning firsthand of what fate was forewarned of us. I recall wind blowing, I spit flows dope, man, fly in the shell at Southampton, kept slow, stay high. Years later, he's the same degree, just gained density. Gave my synopsis, he's hostage. I prayed I could say I behave by locals. I've raised my moral ground. Way have my character stay fly, the conduct squared up. Self-esteem, the day sky, new God on what the world's been waiting for. The days now, may I think I don't abide by the same ethics. They fame respect, yet obtain the credit for keeping the obelisk erect, but with strange essence. But the epic of my name will reign and remain epic. Circumscribed by passions, my squares, my lift. Ask, is it worth the ride? Yeah, it's rare, I spit. But the beach churchified, so I bear my shit. It hurt, I cried, this kid did it. Try to eclipse my soul, bounce back from it. Announce it, I'm done with being the sacrificial lamb. The jungle, I run it, thus the lion conquereth over this numbness. Made a conscious shift, even in darkness, the sun lit on you false lights. Don't have to be gold to glitter. Act a simple part, but just for show. Go figure, you get pounding, you bad boy or gorilla. I'm built like a silverback with hella track, no illa max than me. Master built her back, originally pretty. Take the mask off, 360 on my square. See the circle, if not your mask off. You poemish, dash your salt. The dialogue's trash talk, your past lost. Leave my footprints in the asphalt. Use the outline, correction, last straw. I blast off, I crash off to the next zest of living. Sacredly sex some whose ass off. When she walks that ass off, I talk back to it like who makes your Yanni sing. Her response, she dons me king. To who they gave me the script, my ops the prescription. This is my vision's description. Listen, I'm standing on my circle is me. I absorb your hate to make it work for me. Transform into fuel as I evolve. Advance this abnormal, dormant form and leave y'all right where y'all started at. Let me impart a fact. She'll be sitting in my ship as we chart the map. Thinking in destiny, the turtle and the hare. Acknowledge me as the circle and the square. Yeah. Now watch time and space rock the great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark, waves the heart as I sun ray my art, her mate the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes, marks once we make knowledge born is when time and space rock. The great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark, waves the heart as I sun ray my art, her mate the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes, marks once we make knowledge born is when the rhyme and bass drop. I rose up, took a shower, purified my auric field, took copper for a wall to ensure my chlorophyll is pumping.
Millennial, oh, what's up, what's up? Thank you.
My crown chakra.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Sacred ground,
yeah,
freedom
appreciate
I stand
that.
for. Free all political prisoners of war, man or woman and child, resident of all foreign and alien entities.
Yeah, that's a fake Jew right there. That's IDF punk. They're not soldiers. IDF punks. That's who they are. IDF punks. What's up, Millennial? What's up, Mama? I'ma trim it up. I'ma hook it up. Y'all gonna be like, who's that man?
emojis and the avatars that wore them. Destroy this de facto government and its forums. Establish Big Mom's house so she may restore him.
Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna get gas somewhere else because Walmart gas, they're robbing people and they just go over there because it's supposed to be cheaper, right? It's whatever is pumping is not the amount per gallon. And this is I'm not speaking against Walmart because you gotta remember it's entities, it's not the people, you know. I watched the guy fill his truck up the other day and I was like, how much you put in? And he's like, with the price at $3.19, $3.38, he put in like, I don't know, was it like $60, right, to fill it up? And he says, but the funny thing is, I went to another place, I put about $60 in at $3.75, $7.89, and he said, I filled it up, and and he says, the same, you know, and I was like, I think they're gassing people over here, man. I mean, it happens. I think not employees, not the, you know, what you call it. It's the people, the companies who work the gas pumps. You already should know who that is. And I'm like, wow, this happened numerous times over years, you know what I'm saying? Over the last, I don't know. It was a big thing in the 70s with the, you know, California, you know, with the gas stuff. You know, people do things and you would think it would be for the benefit of, even for themselves. It's against anything natural. And that's why I'm going to talk about the things I want to discuss this AM. All right, let's play this, let this finish up.
A great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes. Marks once we make knowledge born is when time and space rock. The great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes. Marks once we make knowledge born is when rhyme and bass rock. The next host, note to self. Quit playing, hit the gas. This shaft is called my turn. Take the risk and smash. Most of them got fascinated with chips in their ass. Plus rappers sacrificing each other for grips to their cash. Stacking, watch videos without the subliminals. Predictive programming weirdos from minstrel shows. The land's contaminated, fruits and vegetables, black minerals, the water and skies I fry. New age chemicals, technology got me here in front of my desktop. Perusing these beasts and whatnot for my best option, contemplating which bar will next pop to unlock the minds that are stuck within a Xbox off the chart. I continue to climb, watching the rest flop like carp fishing, 100% fresh shark water. I'm on the front line, X marks the spot. I shine because of her, but she's the best part. A great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes. Marks once we make knowledge one is when time and space rock. The great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark. Ways the heart as I sun ray my art, her make the patriarch. Most social media saviors are fakes. Marks once we make knowledge one is with the right and peace drops.
And my music,
I was caulking again.
Music, it's only talking about the suppressed.
I'm pulling all the caulking.
Rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what
my
my
hands
music's
again.
about. The oppressed rising
That
up against the
caulking,
oppressor. So the only people that's scared are the oppressors. The only people who could have any harm coming to them are those who oppress. Simple as that.
3 pound pressure, no way lesser. Drop the oppressor, ain't no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no way lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no way lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no way lesser. Drop the oppressor.
Gotta make my shake.
Time for a change, got a bouncer. The oppressor's the
That don't even bananas.
Execution style too late, but apologetic claim. You wrapped in a cloak of blame, by God it's overdue. Your time is in the end. Locked out silent without sin. You put me on the planet with justice to win. The oppressor's about to get rolled down. With suppressors attached to the war zone. Revolution starting to Arizona. I'm a messenger prophet like Farrakhan. Backed by the honorable who sits at the pinnacle. Who judges the hypocritical, cynical, and the pitiful sinful. My thinking is critical. I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protective service. Critical, the Glock blast and kill this. Don't take any type of skill. I'm ill of all to the central habit took a stand. Over meals too late when the caps get bills. Don't believe the GC type. Going hits close to home. You gotta act the bone when it got the dome. When it's on the zone, all red in my vision through sight. It's gonna be killed whenever I bite. I'm above, I've been given the right. So you better be ready to ride tonight. On the way to the dawn daylight. We gon' win them all, so gon' pass the kite. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop to your presser, ain't no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop to your presser, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop to your presser, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop to your
Pressure. I need me a good organic orange, a couple of apples.
And when I say this world, I mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump?
You can tell everybody from California, they're driving these, and liberals, they driving these Teslas. They really believe in the green and to protect the earth. The whole attitude, demeanor, it's just so plastic. It's a shame. Sad. Very sad. Let's turn it all the way down. Let's just turn it off. There we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? Grand day to you. I hope your night was uneventful. I hope you didn't go out and act too crazy and all that other stuff. Yep, Tylenol, autism, a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? What they're hiding, EBT card. So I like the fact that you shared that, Millennial. That was pretty interesting. Millennial's Best shared this. Go and check her out on her recent post from 2 days ago. I was surprised because they're doing stuff so backwards. You can get it one day and they get something from days before that, and they get the thing, whatever. Even with so-called Dr. Chief the Sunflower and all, you know, listen. Cure Meal had 2 days ago. He had a pretty awesome video up. Bloody Footprints, Indigenous People's History of the USA. You know, I still got another quarter of that to watch. 7 grams, he got some stuff up from 2 days ago. Max V got a thing up from an hour ago. And like I said, you know, I always go and I look at all y'all's posts. I was looking for Westside to see what he put anything up, but he didn't put nothing up. So, and I always check, you know what I'm saying? But believe nothing, right? Believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see. If we want to do the George Orwell, you know, commonality of, I'm going to read this to you, commonality of what's intrinsic. Like I purchased the 1984 movie about maybe three or four times, you know. I remember in 1984, yes, was graduating high school, you know what I mean? And the fact that I was prepping myself, getting away from reefer, I was working, touching New Jersey, District 65, you know, I was union at 17, 18 years old, and I want to go to the French Foreign Legion. You know, me and a few friends made a deal that we would go to the Legion together. And yes, we were influenced by the French Foreign Legion, the movies and all that, and some old guys who lived in Montclair and New York who were Legionnaires. You would never really, they would never say it, you would never know it, but one guy who had like one arm, you know, and he was a great writer, and he was a Legionnaire. He lost it in, I guess, somewhere in South Africa, South America, somewhere. Anyway, it was like, yeah, we're going to become Legionnaires because Legionnaires fight. And we were really about the fighting, you know what I mean? Like, we weren't the guys that run around talking about it. We were actually doing it, you know. I ain't talking about bullying and all that. We were renowned for fighting. You know, that's who we were. And I say that in Lou today because most people you think they're fighters, they're not. You know, culturally, you look at England, you look even here in some places in America, which this media and everything kind of hides. There's a lot of, for the last 10 years, a lot of women have been raped, a lot of stabbings and knifings. And it came with the immigrants, sadly. And we're not talking about the serial killers that are still prolific, light-skinned serial killers in the UK and all that. So we're going to talk about, I want to share, because I think you can see it better over here. So some pictures of the London Bridge. There's a book about the London Bridge, actual. The heads on the pike, whitewashed. I want to get to the root of some things. But with that, let me read this to you, okay? This is a little overview. The phrase, everything has been changed, or its variation, right? We know exactly what it says. I'll read the actual, and then we'll come back to that, okay? By George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day. And minute by minute, history has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. Now, you should be in the present, but the party has never been right. It depends on who you decide or determine is the party. Well, he's alluding to the elite. I was messaging somebody some time ago, and he was like, "Well, everything you're saying. So what you're saying is, James, you were born around 960." I said I was brought into this world in 964. I am actually 62 years old. What? I said, let me tell you something. If you really pay attention by the definition of their time, which is bull, you know, first of all, you move a day from the year, 364, you got 365. I mean, you add a day, all right? You take the seasons, you remove a season, you change the molecular of it, you have 28, 29, 30, and 31 days. They give you a leap year and all these things. These are spells. And you know, the 13th month, you know, or the 5 seasons, which is indicative to us moving around our grand cities as it used to be. Always ready for us to be established anywhere in them. And he was like, man, he was fascinated. He was like, man, that's crazy. I says, you know, when I was reading Facts of Fact, when I was reading Arthur Koestler's 13th Tribe, and it says how the Chazars, well, whatever they called in that book, before they became these Jews, when they started accepting it, because they were very infringing, they were very, you know, that the 6th century, they all of a sudden fell off the map. What's funny is, you turn around, and all of a sudden you get 400 years, and all of a sudden it's the 1400s. I said, if that wasn't molecular to changing history, to write in a false narrative, I don't know why individuals have a hard time seeing it for what it is, when people have been going around showing you the buildings that when I showed people when I was in the military, it was not 1470 or 16 this or built in 17. It literally had an I, which means Isus, in the year of, and then it would be 760. And they were like, and the officer's like, you gotta leave that stuff alone. I'm like, but look at the black heads up there, by the definition of melanated. These people are royal. Even went by in Stockholm, Germany, whatever, where the Rothschilds stole their name from to create this false narrative, which y'all see today, just like the Carnegies and everything else. And I want to read the overview, just to, you know, give a little more and what you call it, as what it states, because you know it is just ridiculous. The phrase everything has been changed, or its variation, written or whatever, destroyed, everything faded into mist. The past was erased, the erasure was forgotten, and the lie became the truth, comes from George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, which is a pretty weird movie, but cool. This concept describes the totalitarian government's systematic alteration of historical records, media, and even physical objects to control the populace by manipulating the past and present, thereby controlling thought and ensuring the party's absolute authority. They do control your thought. I ask you guys to look indicative of who you are. I ask you guys to look up these things, these frequencies, CIA, that MK Ultra, that fact that there are patterns on to control how you think. Okay? The King's Men. All right? When the little young guy becomes what you call, and he's got Samuel Jackson and he's blowing people's heads up. But at the same time, there's a frequency. Remember, one of the King's Men's in the church, and everybody starts killing each other. They were showing you what they've done. 1970s, what they did in California and on the what you call East Coast, when they had everybody rioting and fighting on the beaches here, or in the hoods. And then they had to have these little Masonic, these individuals come in. I want to start mentioning things to control and create these other gangs. Okay? And then people go, oh, I said, well, it's funny how nobody really ever sat down to put it together. I'm not bigging up me. I'm saying because that's part of what I do. I don't put it all together. I put a little bit together for you to research and see what you figure out. You know, hey, what's up, Charles? What's happening, beloved? What you figure out, and then you take it from there. And that's the reason why I call them stupid or cowards, because they think they're manipulating something because they've been groomed and brought into something. It's funny how they'll accept it, even though the truth is more, it's not benign. It is more beneficial, okay? But to think that they control it is just beyond me. Now, let's get this here. So you look at the fact that they said in 1894 on this date, the Tower Bridge in London, England, was officially opened by the Prince and Princess of Wales. They're peasants, taught how to eat with forks, soups, meaningless stuff, put in a visual as they changed, they murdered off the true royals and pushed them away or whatever, or they escaped and went to so-called New Africa and New America, all this new bull nonsense. And this is an ancient, what you call it here? I'm going to show it to you, all right? But there's quite a few. And I know that it's hard for people to accept this, but if you've ever been to it like I have, you would know this, you know? I'll pull a picture up and see if I can turn it around and show you. All right? So this is the bridge they say in 1894 they opened. No, they didn't. They probably had some other people show them how to work it. And there's a reason why I say this. London Bridge, I asked y'all to look it up. No, they actually had pictures, and they done away with it because they want you to believe that the camera was invented by some French monkey who couldn't tie his shoes right, all right? But the last bastion, the last holdup of our people during the fall of Tartary in so-called UK, which would be based off a melanated Algonquin queen, all by the definition of terms of books and historical references, or Europa. Not some place out in some fake space. That's why when people say, your Battlestar 1999, we're going to the Europa star system. Star for it, system. A system that was comprised and changed and made to what it is today. Hey, Suzanne Thompson. This is the bridge the last of our remnants held up on. And as they were killing them, they were putting their heads. Did I do that? Putting their heads on pikes. So there's a book, and I know any of you who purchase books, and I have it, it's buried somewhere in a tote. Old London Bridge, the story of the longest inhabited bridge in Europe. Eminently readable, engrossing, entertaining, but by Time Out. We built all that. Not no Moors and all this other goofy stuff that these incumbents who don't want to accept that Islam, Christianity, and all that were created by the very ones who call themselves Zions today or whatever, by the Vatican's way. This is what they did. You got to remember, the Jesus they got there was a homosexual. He was not no Jesus, Jesus, or whatever you want to call it. I told y'all to look up Emmanuel. They try to change that, meaning God with us. It's bull crap, because Rastafaris have been the closest until they start talking about Haile Selassie, who really didn't give a damn about nobody over here. But you saw how Haile Selassie died in his 80s. He was murdered because he was a betrayer, and he wanted to feed the enemy's narrative. So they did him off when he's in the 80s, just like they got rid of Marcus Garvey in his 40s over in UK, homeless in an empty building, and they let him die the way he should have. Anyway, and that's what most of these so-called Negroes who are betraying people, I don't care the continent over, they want to call themselves Negro de Guinea or Negro de Terra or whatever, I don't care. They are betraying, and they're gonna, it's just the way it is. It's a cycle. It's you know, a remnant to something that has to happen. But that right there was us, and we were putting their pikes, heads on pikes. The fascinating history of Old London Bridge. So they say the fascinating. Who would have to call it fascinating if it's theirs? Because they wanted to change the story and they wanted to lie to you. That's right. Our people built that. I don't care how these little Indians, and we with Kangs. Yes, that's all you say, and you're correct, and we still are. You know, for the idiots who always want to argue that, we built that. All of that. Why do I say that? Well, there's a video going around with this brother talking about, I'm trying to find it so I can download it and share it with you guys, talking about a coin that has blimps on it. Let me pull this up before we get too far. All right, let me pull this up because to be informative, I must share sources and references, right? So make sure I get the right stuff. Benton Spirit Inventions by African Americans. We know we're not Africans. We know that's bull. And you need to know who's behind it. This one's Sellout, Dumb Negro, and a whole bunch of the other ones that made that little dumb. I'm grateful that they wanted to destroy that African American dumb museum because it's lies. And you would think that people are smart, but like I said, it only takes one generation to create this malfeasance. Anyway, and on this coin, everybody thought it said 17, 20, or 60. It says 7, 60, or 20. And in the sky, you see blimps, several of them, over our grand structures that we built. All right? Because you were there, whether you like it or not. Your ancestors are with you because you are them. I'm getting so tired of this, my body aches. Anyway, and why should that be important? Well, they want you to believe that this, let me see if I can pull this guy up and say his name. Okay. Yeah. They want you to believe, they said 1700s, but in the 7th century, after the 665 year, German coins for sale. And it shows you exactly, don't get all bent out of shape, but it is factual. It is what it is, and it is what it is. When the murdering of a righteous people happens, they always show themselves for who and what they are. And this is the first stage of certain malfeasance sleeping with their people. This is literally, let's go out of this and go back over here. This is literally who took over rulership, who came out of so-called Africa. Yeah, 1700s, people. Which it would be the 6th century. Would be the 8th century, so it would be, actually they screwed that up. So it'd be 7th century, 600s. But even when they write stuff, they mess it up. You can pull this stuff up yourselves. Okay? I know. Some people are saying, going, damn, my history's jacked. It's not about you, however you got here. So here it is right here. All right, make sure I got it. So for sale on eBay, 1700 year German coin. Now you know why they look so weird? Because they mix with every one of our so-called races. And that's why you have, besides the ones who just wanted because of Hollywood, wanted to be a Jew, and they're over there, and Ethiopians and American Negroes and all these other dummies and Igbos and some of everything, and Chinese who have been selected when they went out there in the 90s looking at Japan to get those with those roots, and bring them over there and tell them they're Jews because their mother was, anyway. Coming from the wild people of what you would consider Africa. Let me pull that up and see if let me see if I have it first of all, because a lot of things I don't have on here before I get to the next part. Okay, I mean, this is the stuff that surprisingly most people don't even bother with because they just don't know. I'm scrolling and my eyes are bugging on me. I wanted to actually pull it up in Google, and I just didn't feel like, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like going through all that. So, know it have it in here, and I could have had it right. No, we don't want to hear that. That's like crazy. I got rid of a lot of stuff too, so I might have gotten rid of them. And let's see, that. No, that's 100%. Anyway, I'll make a post, and that way you can go ahead and you can use those in the post that I make when I put it up on Facebook, on YouTube, and I probably will load it up on Facebook as well. But y'all have seen the pictures. I know you have. The wild men of Europe or whatever. Maybe I can pull it up. Yeah. Let me see if it pulls it up, because you know the AI is just retarded. Okay, here we go. 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 And they still do traditions where you see them in Sweden and Nordic places, because those were melanated people dressing up with the horns on their head and all that, because they went there and they raped the women, made these new 6 foot tall, these little beak, pale skin, light skin, some kind of brown wolf, but they killed off the men who greeted them and educated them. And we're talking about not too long ago. All right. As you know, in Tartary, there were tons of pictures showing you exactly these individuals who walk around like they're leaders today. Yes, that's why a lot of pale-skinned men have a lot of hair on them. This is not about hate. This is about facts. And the fact that in Nigeria, and the Nigerians have an island that was established by these fake individuals, IOs, where I told you even in our records, y'all didn't look it up, we, as well as them and a few others, birthed in thousands of pale-skinned babies. You come from us. I don't care how you feel, what you think. You come from us. It doesn't matter. It's just a fact. All these so-called races are led by fake Jews, Zios. I don't want to discredit the religious ones, okay, with this. And they're led by these individuals. If you look deep into them, I showed you the one that created it out in New York, created the first. I gave you the name. If you go back about 120 videos ago, I gave you the idiot's name that created the so-called KKK. And people still have a hard time with that. Reminiscence to our ignorance. All right. I'm not going to sit here throwing his name out again. Anyway, when you can do the research and find it for yourself, no matter how well they attempt to hide it. These individuals are worse than the lowest of animal. Their mental is, and what if you were something else, wouldn't you utilize them to control the narrative, to figure out how to get the most powerful soul that is within you? To try to find a way to destroy it? That's what they say when they say they want to fight and kill God. God is fighting itself all the time, and they want to destroy God. Somebody was all pissed off when I said, wow, that is I. That means God. That's why the goofy Masons run around talking about Lord God and all this other dumb stuff. They bought into the stuff that rewrites and changes the definition of truth, and they can't get it because all the ceremonial and the goofy things that they do, which is really unnecessary. But we used to do it as well. Okay, and there's tons of pictures showing these individuals from Tartary, the maps of Pyrus and this, that, and other. And people say these can't be real. And they were very real. When they were conquering, this is how they were establishing themselves. It's not that they couldn't think. And why do you think they have tells? You think this is a game? Look at this. And they have to whitewash it. They have to whitewash it, right? Look at this. And why would the Joker be tearing and destroying up, you know, the kingdom with him pushing them away? But they whitewash it so that way you can never know the truth. And then these are real pictures, y'all. You've seen them in Mexico and everywhere else. They couldn't hide them. In Hispaniola, in UK. Especially around the 16, 17, 18, 19, early 1900s. which you call 16, 17, 18, 1900s. How many people we got in here? Because you know, if it's a handful compared to what I'm talking about, there should probably be a plethora. They gotta hide it. They think they're doing something, and that's stroking my ego because I know the importance of the work I do. Okay, here's another one. That's who they are. Okay. Why do you think that was made? Bronze. Hold on. Let me get this one up. Okay. Saint or sinner. That cross got two. That's a talisman. And you have these idiots, these individuals who still call themselves Christians. They can't get it. They can't, because the conditioning is that deep rooted. Just like these so-called IDF frauds killing people, and they come over here and think they can walk around and it's all right. They just grayed out, hidden amongst the masses, but you can't miss them. When you start infringing upon my soul with that craziness, and you start doing things and messing with our people, it's not going to last long. I wanted to show you this. Yes, the women. And unicorns were real, whether you like it or not. They probably ate them all. Yeah. Hand holding the unicorn, stroking it. As the unicorn sits there and weeps and cries for itself. I know. But the women came more in light than the men. They stayed bastards of beasts. And the women, you know, the purpose why we wash with a washcloth, and we had to show y'all, and the purpose why some of your ancestors, whether you like it or not, it's about truth today. It's not about hate. If you can't deal with the truth, then you hate yourselves. All right? The women became lighter. They became informative. They stopped a lot of things, destruction of buildings and murder of certain groups of people. The women on that side were the light, and their men murdered them on a regular. That caste pulled over into Islam and the Hindu and all that other stuff. When you want to talk about the Ramadas and all that other, you know, the vehicles that could fly and all that, when you look at the Wichita Strait, Gibraltar Strait, or the Wichita Sea, and you look at those big stone things down there, those things used to fly. That's what you saw in the sky that we were fighting with and against and utilizing. And it's in portraits and paintings and pictures of old. But look at it. Look at y'all now. Okay. Now back to what I was saying about the coin with the blimps. Well, if that's the case, then who minted the coin? What was its purpose? I told you that we moved on a barter system. Something changed. So we go to the Benton Spirit, right? Presents. And I have a bunch of these showing that we have pretty much invented everything. Yes, from the saddle, roping tricks, being original cowboys. Everybody emulates us. Even today, when you look at all the rap, the generals of dressing, the carrying a small purse, all that is from ancient to today. Everybody emulates us, and then they want to talk about culture vultures, this, that, and the other pseudo nonsense because their mouth speaks based on the design of their brain, which is fractured and fictional. Because they need you to be upset and emotional. And most of them are IDF or ex-soldiers, whatever you want to call those soldiers. Literally, they're paid, and even out of certain other countries, paid a luscious amount of fiat to sit there and harass y'all on all platforms. This is how stupid they are. As if it's going to change something. So when it comes to the blimp, or the airship, blimp, in parentheses, J.F. Pickering invented it. Why don't y'all pull it up and look at what year they say. So we go to J.F. Pickering. Pickering, as in pickaninny. Pick a nigga. J.F. Pickering, a black Haitian inventor from Gouverneur. You got to remember that most of the Haitians are literally our brothers and sisters. They're not Haitians, but that's the term they utilize, which is no problem. A lot of our people, hundreds upon hundreds, if not millions, that went down to Haiti. I actually had a friend of mine says, dude, I know this guy named something Wentworth. He looked just like you. I said, it's probably bloodline. Just like them dumb Dominicans, you know, wanting to be something other than what they are because they're too stupid to get it together. And Cubanos and everything else. A bunch of idiots. Stupido. All right? Received a U.S. patent number 643975. So if the blimp is all the way in Europe and over here and they want to whitewash it in history of Tartary and over in France and everywhere else, Big Ben, the clock. We want to go back over there and see who invented that? You want to see the brothers? You want to pull that up? The ironing board? For all you so-called well-dressed, goofy-ass, pale-skinned, all people in so-called government, the bastards who can't get their minds right? Right? So, and it says in the 1900s, yet these blimps existed everywhere. You see what I'm saying? They existed everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Buried, shut up. And you know what? Your head will be on a pike too. That's how it's grafted in the stories of old of the future to come. Based on what you do to each other, shut up. Nobody cares about that. I respect Islam, real Islamists, real Muslims. I respect them more than any religion. But y'all, you're a bastard. You're stupid. Ain't Islam as coming nowhere. Shut that shit up. Anyway, the patent number is 643,975. You can look it up. And granted in February 20, 1900. We know that's a lie. The patent was granted. And now you got these Haitians who a lot of African, Nigeria, all these individuals, we're talking about the bad ones who came over there, moved there, because a lot of Haitians are ignorant to the truth, and these bastards run around like they're from this land. They are different people. They are our brothers and sisters, but not as you think, they're cousins. From Europe, which would be the Bagharab and all those places, you know, mixed, you know, because war is a bastard. That's how you rewrite it, because the children become dumb. No ethics, no morals. So everything's changed. Just like right now, a lot of infighting, but we're the light to everything. We're the ones that have been telling the truth history, not nobody else. It wasn't Miss Jane Elliott. She listened to us and realized something is not right, and she was able to put one and one together, but still talking African Americans. She didn't know no better. Bonacci, Santos Bonacci told you, everybody know overseas, and I told you they know. New York, San Francisco, all that. Hell, the blacks, the Negroes built those. We built America, not the fake Native Americans who your ancestors came over here and didn't mind what they did with the children. Just like the ones, when the people died, those children were free in the streets because we killed so many of their parents. Millions of them. We killed millions of their parents. That's why they were everywhere. And then the ones that our people birthed in as well. Sometimes 3, 5, and 6 at a time. Our women, between us and them, would bring in these pale-skinned babies with no hair, no tails, legitimate. And they would take them away, teach them this bull crap you see today, running around like lucid dummies. Not realizing they're from our bloodline. Does that mean that the Jews are? Hell no. It could never be us. That's all I wanted to share. War is probably why a lot of goofy light-skins do not know who they come from. Exactly, Tom, sadly. T-Bone, Charlie Johnson, Suzanne Thompson, that's when I didn't shout everybody out, Nickelhead TV. I actually didn't know Walmart did gasoline. You're beautiful. Yes, you are, mama. A little rat. Would never say it in person. Absolutely. Oh, Mac, you already know, fam. Yeah, Arena Nyack, that's some fake little back, whatever. I hate scissors. Use your real name next time, bro. All right? And see how they think that what they're doing is the answer and the solution. Well, it's not. I want to go and make some eggs or something. I want to make an egg sandwich. I'm thinking about, I got to go over here and get some gas in this. All right, so we're going to go over here, pop some gas in the tank. It's like $5 or $6 to put in there top off, because I ran all the way back. I ran all the way back out there last night, too, I tell you, and charged up my because I put it to try to heat up my sleeping apparatus, and I went in there this morning and did some more caulking and stuff. I got to get a ladder. I got to get up on the roof. I got to fiberglass and seal this thing in. I got to cut a few more things. I got to sand a few more things, but I got to get the resin. I got to get the fiberglass, and I got to seal off the roof so it'd be water and no water come in. And that's what I was hoping to do at Omex and a lot of other things. You know, I always have plans. I always run out and do things to take care of things. I'm not one that just sits around. When I'm around the brothers and sisters, I like to enjoy. Some individuals don't know what enjoyment and fun is, you know. So find me a good Spanish woman. No, I'm just kidding, man. You know. Well, I can do what I want. I have a beautiful woman, but I can enjoy myself. We're not grafted to this world of stupidity, the delusion and everything else. That's not how we move. Pleasures are meant to be pleasure and enjoyed without lockdown and all this mental. It's just terrible. And I don't create something that is not based on facts or truth, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna go over here and put the last little $5 in my tank, because it was above a quarter of a tank and it went below, because I had to charge that up last night. It's at 77%. We'll be over that way again today, just for short. I want to get in the gym, get my little workout on, and then we'll come back over here and stay here probably Sunday, and then Monday get paid. We're gonna head up north, because I want to get some of this work done. I want to get it to where because there's a lot more rain to come. It's gonna be cooler as well, and I need to start getting some insulation in there. And you know, hey, Big Red, what's up, beloved? All I know is that if my brothers and sisters do a call out for the Griffin, I'm coming. You call out, I'll be there. I still plan on snatching you up, but when I get everything right, I can't go over there like this way this thing is right now. This thing will tear it up, warp the wood and everything. But I wanted to get certain things done. But I'm not spending no $600, $700, $800 like I did last month or the month before, and then turn around and everybody does something that's, you know, it's not helpful. Just, you know what I mean? But let me go over here and get this gas. Yo, T-Bo, I'm gonna go and put this last little $5 in here. Maybe somebody will hook us up, bless us, and we'll get some other stuff if need be, man. So I gotta go ahead and put some gas, this last little, because I ran, if I'd have stayed here, it'd have been about a little, almost a half a tank. Yeah, well, you know, about 2/4. This weight is about 1,500 pounds. I don't have the air suspension on here, guys, and therefore it does play a role in eating up gas. For those who know how a vehicle works, it does. That weight, what you call it, it eats the gas up, y'all. I ain't lying. So let me go over here. I really don't. Honestly, I'm thinking about going down here for $3.84 and putting that gas in. It seems like it lasts longer than Walmart scamming everybody over here. Not really a store, but the people who control the gas pumps. It's just a terrible thing. It's not good, you know. And I could be wrong. It could be the type of gas that's being utilized. I don't have a clue. You know what I mean? I'm only speaking because I know what the guy told me who was pumping it. And I know when I put the gas in it, how I was like, what kind of gas is this, you know? I'm gonna put it in there anyway. Baby girl looked me out yesterday. It was a beautiful thing. So we get, you know, me and the soldier brother, you know, make sure we got some travel around via go gas and stuff. And grab a couple other things, you know. We don't stop being men and living. because, you know, no, we're gonna be good. Like, I just want to work with Walmart just to know that I can still push myself and, you know, and pace and do things more intelligently. You know, unlike when I worked at Cisco's, I used to, before I became dock foreman and worked in the reach and the lift and all that kind of stuff, I used to load trucks and had this old guy there who was a dock foreman. He was really good at what he does. And me and him, because I get real competitive back then. I would get real competitive. And he loaded, like, one night, older guy, older than most of us there, you know, by about 10, 15, even 20 years. He was an ex-crackhead at a boxer. Like, he loaded out 9 trucks, like, loaded. We're talking about freezer, cooler, and dry. And it's a science for Cisco. You can't just go in there and throw stuff around. You literally, weight has to come off. You have to load it by carts, and it's got to be loaded where it's not going to shift. There ain't no bungee cords, no straps locking stuff down. You have to know the height as far as the weight of what you got to put on there. So I had got this stuff down to a science. I said, boom. So one day he was off, and I went in and I loaded out 10 trucks. He came back and he saw me. We always do that dirty look and all that, you know. You ain't cussing and stuff. You smoke a cigarette. We have a drink after work and that fishing and stuff. And I says, no, man, you had 9, I loaded out 10, fool. He said, all right. So one night, me and him were there, and we were on the one dock. And it's all 8 bays were open, it's 12. And he had the first floor, I had the second floor. He said, no matter the loadout, let's load these trucks. I tore his ass up. I loaded out 12 trucks. Everybody was coming around watching us non-stop, throwing these cans. The selectives were selecting fast, because we just, I mean, he got 10, he got to 11. I was on the last with these big tall boxes popping in the back of this truck. I couldn't figure out what to put. I said, wait a minute. These ones are lighter, these are heavy. I got the heavy ones, I put the lighters up top. I squared it where it wouldn't even move. They were like, the people on that was like, and I became dock foreman, one of them. Yeah, so, you know, so I have a history of accomplishments and customer service rep, the top best one of the best ones at the East Coast at Whole Foods. When I came back up north after I left my wife, you know, we had guys there, Africans and everybody. Been working there for like 4 or 5 years, and here I come in there, and after 6, 7 months, I'm sitting down in Starbucks, and they're talking about, you want to be night supervisor? I was like, sure. So I want to see if I still have that ganache, that go get them, like, you know what I mean? So anyway, appreciate you guys. I'm gonna pump this gas and I'm gonna catch you guys later. All right, appreciate y'all. Oh wait, I turned the internet off. Oh my goodness, I turned the internet off. See you guys later.